Grace Thompson sat on the edge of a creaky mattress in their cramped Bronx apartment, her rough, calloused hands trembling as she watched her daughter, Emily, sleep. The morning light crept through the cracked window, casting faint shadows on the peeling wallpaper. For 22 years, Grace had fought to give Emily a better life, ever since her husband, James, died in a construction accident just weeks before Emily's birth. Grace had worked tirelessly as a laundrywoman, scrubbing the stains of the wealthy to keep food on the table. But it was never enough. Some nights they went to bed hungry. Other nights they survived on stale bread and watery soup. Emily was Grace's pride, bright, kind, and determined to break the cycle of poverty. She had excelled in school and earned a scholarship to a local university, but now, in her final year, a required project fee of $500 threatened to shatter her dreams. "Mama, I have to drop out," Emily had whispered a week ago, her voice cracking as tears welled in her eyes. Grace's heart broke as she held her daughter, murmuring, "I'm so sorry, my child. I tried my best." But her best hadn't been enough, not yet. One crisp autumn morning, Grace trudged through the polished streets of Manhattan, her laundry basket heavy on her hip. Her back ached, and her knees creaked with every step. She was 58 now, and the years of labor had taken their toll. As she passed a grand mansion on East 72nd Street, a sign caught her eye. "Live-in Maid wanted, apply within." Her heart raced. Could this be their salvation? She smoothed her worn dress, took a deep breath, and knocked. A tall, elegant woman answered, Victoria Hamilton, a wealthy widow with sharp green eyes and a cool demeanor. Her silver hair was swept into a tight bun, and she wore a silk blouse that likely cost more than Grace earned in a month. "I'm here for the maid job," Grace said, bowing her head slightly. Victoria studied her, then nodded. "Come in." The interview was brief but promising. "You can start immediately," Victoria said, her tone clipped. $80 a day, room and board included. Grace's breath caught. $80 a day could cover Emily's fee in a week. "Thank you, ma'am. I have a daughter, Emily. Could she live here too?" "She'll help out," Victoria shrugged, her lips pursing slightly. "As long as she's well behaved, that's fine." Grace raced home, her heart pounding with hope. "Emily, pack your things. We're moving tomorrow." Emily's eyes widened, a faint smile breaking through her exhaustion. "Mama, are you serious?" For the first time in years, they dared to dream of stability. The Hamilton mansion was a marvel. Marble floors, glittering chandeliers, a kitchen bursting with food Grace could only dream of cooking. She and Emily marveled at it, their whispers echoing in the vast halls. But their awe quickly faded. Victoria's daughter, Jessica, arrived home from a shopping spree, her designer heels clicking ominously on the floor. "Who are these people?" she demanded, her voice dripping with disdain as she tossed her bags onto a velvet sofa. "The new maid and her daughter," Victoria replied, barely glancing up from her phone. Jessica's lip curled. "A maid, fine. But her daughter, she doesn't belong here." "She's temporary," Victoria said dismissively. "Don't make a fuss." But Jessica did. From that moment, she turned Emily's life into a quiet hell. Endless chores, cutting remarks, and cold glares. "Know your place," she'd hiss whenever Emily dared to breathe too loudly. "You're nothing but a charity case." Emily endured it, her jaw tight, for her mother's sake. They needed this job. She scrubbed floors until her hands bled, carried trays up 3 flights of stairs, and bit her tongue when Jessica accidentally spilled wine on her only good dress. Grace saw it all but could only whisper encouragement. "Stay strong, Emily. This won't last forever." One afternoon, while fetching groceries in the bustling streets near the mansion, a sleek black car rolled up beside Emily. The window lowered, revealing Michael Anderson, a handsome young man with warm brown eyes and a disarming smile. He was 25, dressed in a tailored jacket, and carried an air of quiet confidence. "Hi there," he said. "I've seen you around. I'm Michael." Emily kept walking, wary of strangers with charming smiles. "I'm Emily, and I'm not interested." He stepped out, undeterred, matching her pace. "I just want to talk. You seem different. Not like the people I usually meet here." She hesitated, then softened slightly. "I have work to do." But Michael didn't give up. He was a regular visitor at the Hamiltons, a family friend who'd grown up with Jessica, and over time, he sought Emily out. He admired her quiet strength, her kindness despite Jessica's cruelty. A friendship bloomed, then something deeper. One rainy evening, as thunder rumbled outside, he slipped her a small phone. "So we can stay in touch," he said, his voice earnest. "Please, take it." Emily's heart fluttered, but she whispered, "Thank you," tucking it away. For the first time, she felt seen, not as a maid's daughter, but as herself. Jessica's jealousy erupted when she caught wind of Michael's attention. She'd always assumed he'd be hers one day. His family's wealth matched hers, and their mothers had hinted at it for years. One night, she stormed into Emily's tiny attic room, spotting the phone half hidden under a pillow. "Where'd you get this?" she snarled, snatching it up. "It's mine," Emily said, standing firm despite the tremor in her hands. "From Michael, right?" Jessica's eyes blazed with fury. "You think you can steal him from me?" Before Emily could react, Jessica smashed the phone against the floor, shards scattering like broken dreams. "You don't deserve nice things," she spat, storming out. Emily sank to her knees, tears burning her eyes as she gathered the pieces. Grace found her moments later. "My child, what happened?" Emily showed her the wreckage. "Jessica." "Because of Michael." Grace's face hardened, lines deepening around her mouth. "I told you to be careful. That girl's heart is poison." "Why is life so unfair, Mama?" Emily choked out. "We've done nothing wrong." Grace held her close, her voice steady despite her own pain. "No condition is permanent, Emily. Hold on, we'll find a way." Days later, while dusting Victoria's study, Emily overheard a phone call that stopped her cold. Victoria's voice trembled as she spoke. "I gave birth at City General, not to one child but twins. I only left with Jessica. Something wasn't right, but the nurse said the other died. I've always wondered." Emily froze. City General was where she was born, on December 12th, 1999, the same day Jessica turned 22. She ran to Grace, her pulse racing. "Mama, listen. Victoria said she had twins, and you always said your scan showed a boy. But you got me. What if—" Grace's eyes darkened with memory. "I thought it was a mistake. The doctor said there was a mix-up. My boy was stillborn, and you were a surprise. But now—" She grabbed Emily's hand, her grip fierce. "We're confronting her." They marched to Victoria's room, where she sat sipping tea, her face pale from the call. "I heard you," Emily said, her voice shaking but firm. "About the twins." Victoria's cup clattered to the saucer. "You were born there too?" Grace nodded, stepping forward. "Same day, December 12th, 1999. My scan predicted a boy." The air thickened with possibility. "We need the truth," Victoria said, reaching for her phone with trembling hands. "I'm calling the police. This ends now." The investigation moved fast. Detectives tracked down a retired nurse, May Carter, who'd worked at City General that night. Under pressure, she confessed, her voice breaking over the phone. "Miss Ruth Anderson paid me," she wept. "She couldn't have kids and wanted a boy. I took Grace's son and gave him to her. Victoria had twin girls. I gave one to Grace to cover it up. The hospital buried it all." The pieces clicked, sharp and jagged. Emily was Victoria's daughter, Jessica's twin. Michael, Ruth Anderson's adopted son, was Grace's biological child. But there was more. Maid's voice dropped to a whisper. Ruth wasn't just desperate. She threatened me, said she'd ruin my life if I ever talked. She knew Victoria would never let it go.